A lot of us out here are tired, and frankly, we're sick and tired of being in the same job, being in the same romantic relationship. I'm so sorry. My dog is like, what are you doing, baby? uh, being in the same romantic relationship and getting to the place where it's just like you just can't leave it. And everybody around you is like, well, how'd you leave? How'd you just quit? How'd you leave that job? And it can get to the point where you almost don't want to talk to your family and friends about it anymore because everybody's just telling you to leave like it's so simple. That's what I'm going to talk about today, particularly out there for my Black participants, viewers who are in spaces where they're like, you know, it's not just the situation that I'm burnt out with. I'm also dealing with a lot of fatigue where I can't even make the decision that I need to make to be able to get out of this spot because I have nothing left to give. So, welcome back. As I'm exploring a spot with you and so many of my clients, I'm also in a spot where I'm exploring in my own body. I have been low on iron literally for months, working with all the specialists, taking the iron supplements, taking the right iron supplements, taking the good iron right supplements. And still, I'm in a place where I just don't, all my blood work is just not showing that I'm taking anything. Um, It's just not showing that I'm hardly doing anything. So I literally just got hematology yesterday to say that they are going to go ahead and approve an iron infusion for me. So thankfully, just got to get through that hoop of jumping through and waiting for the insurance company to go ahead and approve that. In the meantime, all my family and friends are just like, well, why don't you go see this specialist? Why don't you do this thing? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do, which is great. And I'm glad that they're supporting me. And I'm glad that they have all these great ideas. And I don't have the energy. And as I sit down with so many of my clients who are in so many different situations that are, I don't feel like it's important to compare pain, but I also want to say that I feel like mine, there's an end in sight very soon. So many other people, it is their career. For you out there in YouTube land, it is your career. It is your romantic relationship. It's something that you've invested decades in. And so for you to just up and to just leave it, that would be a huge sacrifice on your part. And not only that, but there's this place where we could feel like a failure. There's also this spot for us where we feel like we put too much into it. I want to try to see it through. So I'll never forget when I was in graduate school, we were going over the psychological principle. And for the life of me, if I had no iron, maybe I could think of it, but I don't right now. But there's a psychological principle that essentially says that the more energy and effort you put into something, the more likely you're going to stick with it just because you don't want to have to start over. And so, what that is to be said, like an example of that is, have you ever said that you were going to go on a trip somewhere and you maybe paid for your concert tickets, maybe you paid for your airline tickets, but you didn't pay for your hotel, you didn't rent a car, you didn't do anything else, but you did those two things. Let's say the person that you plan to do all that with, you fell out with. Let's say it was a friend and you fell out with the person you're not speaking terms for have you. You're still more likely to go on the trip because you bought the concert tickets, because you bought the airline tickets. Yes, we've already invested. And when we've invested in something, we usually want to see it through. That's just something that happens with us all psychologically. So this is why a lot of times salespeople, they will get you to say yes to something. Let me put this. I was in Sam's Club and this lady was just kind of walking around. She looked homeless, not to try to be mean. She just kind of looked pretty shabby. She just looked kind of mismatched. Her hair was kind of like all over the place. She just didn't look like a salesperson. Usually salespeople are really put together and very polished, and she just kind of walking around Sam's Club, and I thought she was going to ask for some money. I thought she was going to ask for somebody to help her pay for her groceries or something. And so I'm just walking right past her. I'm just getting my nervous system all worked up because I'm like, oh, I can't today. Like, I just need to just get this one thing that I need to get and get out of the store. And so I was walking here and again, no energy. I'm just trying to get this for my family, trying to get in and out of Sam's Club. And I saw her, I believe everybody's a human being, everybody's experience matters. So I saw her, at least wanted to just give a gentle gaze, like I see you as a human being, I see whatever it is you're going through, and to keep moving forward. And so this lady says, "Do you own a home?" And the first thing that came out of my mouth was no. Now that's not true, but that's the first thing that I noticed that came out of my nervous system. Girls like, "Oh no, a salesperson." And I know that they're kind of trained just to get you to say yes to something. As soon as they get you to say yes, they can easily get, especially people like me, I tend to be more susceptible to a lot of the tactics that they use. They can get you to keep going and keep going and keep going. And next thing you know, you're in this thing and you're trying to say, no, I don't want it. But they'll kind of trap you in a spot where you feel like you don't have any other options. And so why am I saying this? I'm saying this because there's so many people that I'm talking to, not even just my clients. I'm wondering about my colleagues and my friends. And they're like, Virginia, I'm stuck. I'm stuck. I don't like this. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I know that what I'm doing is not the best. I'm not looking for you to give me an easy answer. I'm like, not gonna go for it either. Not going for it. I don't want you to give me an easy answer, Virginia, but I'm tired and I'm stuck and I'm sick and tired and I'm mad at myself because I'm still in this spot. And so while I can definitely identify with a lot of that in terms of looking at my videos right now, uh, there are some pieces of this that are obviously different. And so I want to honor that difference and not overly relate. But what I am saying is that there is this movement that is happening in our world right now where a lot of people just feel stuck and they're angry and they're tired and they're sick and tired. And the main person they're angry with is themselves because they see themselves and they see like, what's wrong with me? We start turning on ourselves when we can't get a situation to change and improve. We start blaming ourselves. What's wrong with me? If I was smart enough, if I did this, I should have done this. If only I would have, then I wouldn't be in this spot. I wouldn't be in this situation. And you're just there. And all the woulda, coulda, shouldas can't take us out. And so what is the spot that I'm talking about? The spot that I'm talking about is grief. That is something nobody wants to hear right now. And definitely something we ain't got time for. Grief. And that stage of grief that a lot of people are talking about and that they're all stuck in right now is this spot of just guilt. The woulda, coulda, shouldas. That I'm mad with myself. I may be mad with other people. I may be mad with my boss, and I may be mad with this coworker, and I may be mad with this person who skipped over for a raise for me. I may be mad with my supervisor who I feel like doesn't hear me. But the main person I hear people angry with is themselves. Why are we angry with ourselves? I know for myself as a kid, growing up, when my parents got a divorce, the first person that I blamed was myself. Maybe if I was more quiet, could live with that, younger Virginia. Maybe if I was more agreeable, maybe if I was smarter, maybe if I was more helpful, maybe if I got all the kids to do these things better, maybe if I were to help my parents have a conversation better, then maybe we wouldn't be in this spot. These are old things that we have done, y'all. We've done these things since childhood. We tend to blame others. And after we blame others, we tend to blame ourselves. is sometimes we can be the nastiest to ourselves. Why? Why? Which is the question most people ask when they're in grief. And we can stay stuck in why. Why? Because it kind of is almost like a false carrot where we think that if we get the answer, then that will be the thing that gets us unstuck. But it ends up bringing us into this place where we're just stuck in the same. We're looking for more information, looking for more information. For folks who are in marriages that they feel like they've been doing it, they're like, okay, well, maybe if we start counseling or maybe, if I find out for sure that my partner cheated on me, or maybe if I find out that, you know, my partner is not willing to stand up for me and for my in-laws, or maybe if my partner didn't back me up on a situation with the kids, or maybe if my partner was nicer to me, or maybe if my partner treated me with more respect, or maybe if we've had more sex, or maybe. And then we chase these things and get some false glimmers of hope, and then it falls through. And after it falls through, then we're stuck in that why spot. It's almost like we want to bang our head against the wall, or as my kids call it, we're going to start crashing out. Why? So we look for another thing to give us a little bit of hope so that we can keep investing more energy in. But the more energy we invest into it, the more like we're also not to leave it. So it becomes this very tricky situation. And so I believe part of that is we just have to just number one, just take a look at the whole thing. Take a step back and look at the whole thing. The other thing that's really hard to do, that's easier said than to be done, is to start to remove the why question and start changing it to a what question. So what am I going to do? I'm never going to get all the data. I'm never going to get all the confirmation of all the things that I want and need to be able to let me know that it's time to leave my job, my career, my marriage, whatever it is. The real question that we all run from, all of us, myself included, what? What are you going to do now? What are you going to do now in a way that honors all the work that you have put in and honors yourself? What are you going to do? And nobody can answer that question except us. And we have to get to the point where we are ready to let go of that bone that we've been chasing, that carrot that we've been chasing, of the whys. Start switching it over to what? Start moving us to a place of activation versus information getting. So I recognize that this might have been a really hard video to watch. My hope is that everybody will be supportive of each other in the comments. Maybe jot down some things that helped you to be able to let go of something that you just invested a lot in because there's not enough whys. There's just never a why that's going to enter the what. So thank you for your time with me today. My name is Virginia. I'm a licensed mental health therapist. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, I ask that you take that time to do that. I really appreciate that. And then I hope to see you next time. Take care.